Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today is kind of a sad day for me, but with good intentions. I have pulled 10 knives out of my collection that I am having to part with to get new material and just stuff to experience overall. Most of this stuff has a form of packaging. Some of these things have original packaging. Some knives have been heavily modified, but everything here is in perfect working order with stupid sharp edges. So I do all my sharpening, I do all my modifications, and yeah, let's just start running through them. The first couple, let's see, 1, 2, 3. The 3 first knives will have original packaging. There are 3 more that do not, but have, comparable packaging. And then there are 4 more that, if I have packaging available, if I sell other stuff or buy stuff and it comes with packaging, I will try to put it in like a nice little nylon pouch or something. I will try to, but they will be listed, and in the description will say no original packaging. So I just want to let you guys know that. Pricing, all that kind of information is going to be linked down below. I'm going to be doing everything through nafsale.com. So first, we're going to start off here. This is the first Wii I ever purchased. At the beginning of last year. This is the Wii Kite Fin. It's been an absolutely wonderful time with this knife. I don't take it out as often as I want to. Honestly, I take it out just to look at it, flip it a couple times, and put it away. I know it's a Wii. It's a sub $200 Wii, and the only reason why I ever treated it as such was because it's such a beautiful knife, but I don't use it all too often. Man, it's a little difficult to flip with these gloves. I'm wearing gloves because my hands are just freaking messed up and gross, and I don't want to freaking gross you guys out. Got a lot of cuts and stuff, and I just don't want to distract. So this is the Wii Kite Fin. It's an in-house design. This specific knife has been sharpened twice, still keeping the factory angle, but it has a beautiful high polish finish. It cuts like an absolute champ. Flips pretty darn well too. It has the polished shred carbon fiber, 0 voids, 0 tear out. It is glorious. Very beautiful. On the other side, it is raw bead blast titanium with a flame anode clip and bronze to match with body hardware, polished chamfers in the hole. So this is, in my opinion, the fanciest looking stock Kite Fin that you can get. You could actually still buy this knife brand new, but all pricing will be more than comparable for being technically a used knife. And of course you will get the sticker, the pouch, the candy, and not actual candy, please do not eat it, but you'll get the nice standard Wii packaging with this. So that's that guy. The next, this is the original packaging. This is the recently purchased and reviewed QSB Puffin. This knife has been definitely kind of all over the place. I've enjoyed the overall design of it, and the action is pretty darn good too, if you guys want to go back and watch my full review and also my unboxing of this knife, because my opinion did change between the 2 forms of content there. But overall, it's still a wonderful, wonderful design. I just don't see myself actually using this too often, or no, excuse me, I don't see myself needing it. I have plenty of other things in my collection that are quite similar that I'd much rather have instead of this. So I figured I could pass this on to somebody else and pass on some savings to check it out. S35VN blade material. Oh, and that Kite Fin also had S35VN. I gotta remember to talk about blade material because that's important too. I don't expect you guys to know all the stats of some of these knives, but I'm trying to keep this short and sweet for the most part and just talk about like the main things. So there are 2 little marks on this that for whatever reason I just can't seem to get out. There's this smudge up here right above the pivot screw. I can't seem to get that out for the life of me, so that's there. It's a bead blast titanium finish. Same thing with the clip. It's not tappy, it's a pretty solid clip, has good retention in the pocket. It came with scratches, and I ended up adding my own because I did carry this for a while, and while I did, it was still a wonderful knife to carry. So, in the packaging is the little plastic sleeve that it came in, authenticity card, stickers, and that's about it. So I'm gonna put that guy in there, and that'll be it. Try not to mess with knives after I, you know, say that I'm going to sell them, because I don't want anything to happen to them. Okay, let's get this in there. These are all like freshly cleaned and everything, so that's also another reason why I'm wearing gloves. I don't want to get my grimy hand oils on these beautiful knives. We have a very beautiful knife coming up right here. I'm sad to let this go, but I do want to experience more things from this brand, so that's why I've decided to part with it. This is from Polish Custom Knives. I actually purchased this off of NAF sale. This is the Hermann Vespertillo. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, probably not. This variation is an M398. It has a matte finished, like kind of grayish blue tie anodization to it. It's beautiful. Do definitely enjoy it. The pocket clip is a heavy stone washed raw tight clip, not tappy, nice, good retention to that. The flipping on this is absolutely stupid. It's not drop shutty, but because of the handmade ceramic free floating bearings, well, I'm not sure if they're actually called free floating bearings, but they're loose bearings. So this knife has actually not been taken apart. I thought I was going to actually own this long enough to eventually do full maintenance on it, but honestly, I saw no reason to do so because it never gave me any hiccups in the action. It's always been just stupidly wonderful, and the sound, it's a wonderful little ting. It doesn't sound cheap. It sounds good, and it's stupidly light too. So just for fun, we can go ahead and check the weight on this. This is definitely a medium-sized knife. The weight definitely reflects that. For the materials that you're getting here, you're getting a full tie construction with a tie liner lock. Nice back spacer to match with the little design cue that they have there that they do across majority of their designs. But I'm only getting rid of this because I want to purchase something else from them, and chances are I'm gonna have to buy brand new, so any little bit helps. This has seen one sharpening. I am the second owner of this knife. I kept the original angle, I just sharpened it, and the cutting performance of this thing is just, it's so stupidly good. Even when the knife was actually dull, it would still slice through paper and cardboard for the most part because of the behind thickness edge geometry. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This is everything that it came with when I got it. Nice pouch. Here you have okay, be very careful if you're actually gonna buy this off of me, but in this pouch there are some loose bearings somewhere in here. I don't see them. Where are they? I don't even want to open it because the last time that I opened this, I was just like, wait, what are those little things? They're in here. Promise they're in here. There's the card of authenticity with a little scan code. You can register it. This card has all the stats and everything. I'm just not going to take it out of the packaging. This is a tool that comes with it to take apart the pivot. It's the Hermann branded tool, and also this was included from the original owner. Again, haven't used it, has not been taken apart. I have done cleaning maintenance of the pivot the way that Hermann Knives recommends. Clean out with some WD-40, compressed air, and then a drop or two of your preferred bearing lubricant. I used KPL, and I used the original or ultralight. Honestly, I can't really tell the difference between the two, but yeah. So that's that guy. Sad to see it go, but I want to experience more from this brand, and I think this would definitely make somebody else much happier than it did me. This next one, this is one that does not come with technically its original packaging, but it comes with the majority of the original packaging. I'm going to be putting it into a Vera Engineering thick nylon pouch. It has 2 holders there, and it's honestly on the wider side, so there's a lot of padding going on. This is my Chris Reeve Knives Small Sebenza 31. This variation originally was the plain, like, sand blasted S45VN blade material. I've done some modifications here. Of course, I removed that god-awful little lanyard tab. It was actually being chewed up by the tip of the blade, so it had to go. It was gonna come off anyway, which honestly I think is a little design flaw. So it still has all the original parts and everything. It's just been anodized. The blade has been acid stone washed by yours truly. The edge has been laid back, and it has a high polished 600 grit edge. And the performance of this thing, regardless of how stocky or how thick you think the blade stock thickness is, this thing is a wonderful little slicer, and I do definitely enjoy using it, but I think it's time to part with it now. The retention on the clip, it is nice and wonderful. It is on the lighter side, and of course it is the stock clip. All the hardware has been acid washed, so it's dulled out. It's not the typical polish, and the barrel backspacer piece and the lanyard tube has also been anodized to match. They're just at a higher polish finish than the actual scale material was, so you know, there goes the much brighter color. And here is, you know, what you typically get when you buy a brand new Chris Reeve knife. There's lubrication and I think some Loctite, and then a little tool for maintenance. This tool has been unused because I was using my the other one from the other knife that I have, and then a actual Chris Reeve cloth. So this is what you guys will be getting, and this will definitely be significantly cheaper than the ones that are currently on NAF sale. A lot of people like to do like crazy priced flips, and you know what, I myself also have a knife that I didn't purchase to flip, but it's priced rather high because that's what I'm willing to let it go. And depending on how long it takes for me to get through the rest of these knives, I will go over what I currently have listed up on NAF sale. This next knife, not original packaging, but it technically came from the same brand. This is the Bridgeport Knives 395 version 1. Again, this is the version 1. Recently, the version 2 dropped, and this packaging is from the version 2. I've decided to keep the version 2 because it just cuts a little bit better, but I'm sad to see this go because there are a lot of elements to the version 1 that I wish were on the version 2. It is what it is, but you know, let's go through a couple of things that have happened. It's been sharpened about 2 times. The blade originally was a like polished stone wash. I dipped it into some acid just to darken it, so it's not technically a acid stone wash at this point. It's an acid wash over stone wash. It's kind of weird, I know, but I like the look of it. That's what I was going for. Of course, this is one that I did work on myself. The titanium scales here have been dual toned, I guess anodized. It's mainly blue, and then the polished area is a pinkish purple, which is honestly very vibrant, and I'm having a horrendous time trying to get it across. But you could see that sheen a little bit of the pinkish purple. It's not going to be for everybody, I understand, but this thing and its action is just undeniable. This has better action than everything I'm going to show you guys. This has better action than the Hermann knife I just showed you. It's very smooth and controlled and just super drop shutty. No movement in the detent, just solid in every dimension. It's a wonderful knife, but honestly, I have no reason having 2 of basically the same knife. I have an inset steel liner lock with some heavy weight relief, but even still, this thing does weigh a good bit. Go ahead and I'll just share the weight with you guys real quick. You guys can check that out. 3.7, nothing crazy, but it is a little weighty for the overall size. What the original packaging came for the version 2, it was a nice watertight kind of pouch, snaps in the front. It has this little lanyard thing. This is the cloth that came with it, and there's a Bridgeport Knives like authenticity card that came with the other one. I figured some packaging is better than none, so that's gonna go in there. Fits perfectly, and it's good to go. So there's that one. Next one, this is also gonna be one that has seen a lot of modifications, a lot of very expensive modifications. So the price will reflect that. Please keep that in mind. This is my comparison size knife. This is the Osborne, jeez. Sorry, it's the gloves. I swear it's not the knife. This is my Osborne 940 from Benchmade. What you guys see here in front of you, this was the Blade HQ exclusive variation. They actually are still available, and it is a 110% recommendable knife. I absolutely love this knife, but I don't use it as much as I honestly should. I've been wanting to get a mini variation and you know, just make a ultra lightweight version of it because I love the blade shape. And I would prefer to have something closer to the size of the bug out. And I do believe that the mini version of the Osborne 940 is closer to the size of a standard Benchmade bug out. So you guys might be seeing that hopefully here soon in the future. The blade has been sharpened about 3 times. M4 blade material, the original JG10 scales I have anodized. The knife was dropped once with these scales on, and you can see right there that there was just this kind of like little fractured area. It didn't actually break off. It's just, you know, when like you break ice but it doesn't actually fall apart, it's like internal cracking. It's just at the very tip there, really at the bottom of the knife. But these are the original scales. I'm including that in there because there's no reason for me to have it. Also included is the original clip screws, black back spacers, and steel hardware. The pouch that I'm going to be sending it off in is a CGRB pouch, a little nice fuzzy lined nylon pouch that you can keep this knife nice and safe in there. Some of the other stuff that has happened to this knife, I purchased a full set of black, I believe they're titanium hardware. I'm not 100% sure, but I will check. Regardless, doesn't really matter. But all just completely blacked out. This thing is it's a gorgeous knife. The scale material comes from Metenboss. These are solid zirconium scales, along with the clip and the 2 backspacer pieces. So all this stuff I paid basically $100 per piece, $100 for the front scale, the back scale, and the clip. It's $300 there, and the knife itself was about $200. Because it's been used so much, and the only marks on this are just that one little scuff, maybe another one in just the right light, but everything is, the only imperfections would be on the clip there. And if you had the time and some skills, you'd probably be able to get that out quite easily. I just don't have the time for it, really. Again, sharpened a couple times because it's just been such a wonderful user. This blade has never experienced rust, even though it is M4. The bare edge can still rust. So I would definitely recommend putting some knife shield or some sort of protectant overall on the blade. Also the, you know, exposed back here. This is all nice and smooth. But again, just make sure you put something there to protect it overall. A couple questions that some people have asked in my past videos showing off this knife: is there internal weight relief? Yes, there is internal weight relief on both sides of the actual zirconium scales, but because it is zirconium, it is still very hefty, and it feels so good in hand. That's what's going on here. .3.8. So nothing super crazy, but it still feels pretty hefty in hand. The weight, you know, the 3.8, that doesn't sound right. This feels like it weighs significantly more. And again, I'm fumbling with it because of my gloves. But those are the stock Benchmade thumb studs that are actually pretty grabby. The Omega springs are not stock Omega springs, but I did find some aftermarket US made Omega springs, and they are significantly stronger than the stock ones and make this knife super snappy. It smacks out just so hard. There's so much confidence you can put behind that, and it's good to go. Again, I'm fumbling with it a little bit because of the gloves. So that is everything you're going to be getting with this knife here. The scales up in here. And again, original clip, because I'm including that because there's no reason for me to hold on to that. So let's move on to this next knife here. And this, somebody has already shown interest in this. I believe it was Work Knife Balance. He was interested in purchasing this knife if I ever decided to let it go. So before I post it on NAF sale, I will be contacting him to ask him if he is willing to purchase this off of me. I did have to pay aftermarket pricing, but I'm going to definitely try to meet him somewhere between what I had to pay and what it costs to get one of these brand new. This is the Blade HQ exclusive Hinderer XM-18 3-inch slicer blade shape choil. This is a wonderful little knife. I just really want to experience the 3.5 inch, and I want to be able to modify it, but it's really difficult to find people who make genuine well, not people who make genuine, like, it's hard to find genuine Hinderer parts, because I wanted to do a full tie build, and I think that it would have been really cool, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen at a, you know, within a reasonable amount of time at a reasonable cost. So, I mean, what is installed in here currently are the washers. It is on the tri-way system. Included in this bag, I'm including 2 of the spanner bits that I purchased. I think that whoever purchased this knife will definitely be thankful for that, because this is the proper size to use. This is a 1/4 inch bit, so it fits any 1/4 inch driver. You have the original steel bearings and the Teflon washers unused. I probably had the bearings in there for like the first week or so, and then I put in the washers because I wanted to experience that Hinderer washer action. And while it's not drop shreddy yet, the deployment on this, even with gloves, honestly, it's been pretty smooth. And while it did take a second to break in, it's getting just better and better and better. So this is their working finish. It's a heavy acid stone wash. I absolutely love it. I did sharpen this twice already because Hinderer runs their steel soft. That is all across the board. You can't convince me otherwise. It's soft steel, but because of the blade shape, ergonomics, and everything, it's still a wonderful knife, and I justify the asking price for when these things do drop every once in a while. There is the I'm not sure if this is actually called Battle Blue, but it is the factory blue anodized. Everything here is factory. It came like this. This was a specific variation made for Blade HQ that was released honestly only a couple months ago. So I'll be reaching out to Work Knife Balance to see if he's interested in this, if he wants me to hold on to it for a little bit. I don't mind, and he can purchase it at a later date. And if he says, hey, I'm gonna pass it up, then you guys will be seeing it up on NAF sale for a justifiable price, right? And the next 3 knives here are going to be ones that do not have original packaging, but could possibly include a pouch if I do have one from now until the next time I get a new knife that has a nice pouch that I could use, right? So this was the also recently purchased and reviewed Tuya Knives NV4. I purchased this from Blade HQ. It came with a couple little hiccups in the action, but after doing some light maintenance, they have worked themselves out, and this is honestly a wonderful, wonderful knife. I love this knife so much. I just really wish that I was able to remove, like, again, the reason why I'm selling this is because I wish that I could be able to remove the aluminum like layered carbon inlays, because I would love to anodize this thing. But keeping it just raw tie, while it is very beautiful looking, I wanted to be able excuse me, I wanted to be able to do some work on it, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen without actually ruining the knife. The action is just stupid good. Those thumb studs are just, after getting used to it, they're good to go. And again, the action is just stupidly smooth. Damn, I keep getting about like blade materials and stuff like that. I already talked about the Bridgeport, what was in the CGRV pouch? Oh yeah, I already talked about that one. That was the M4. The Hinderer was the one that I forgot. This is in their CPM 20 CV, but honestly, it's like 14C. So, this one is an S90V, and yes, it is definitely S90V, and it is well heat treated. How can I tell that? Well, when I go to sharpen this knife, it takes me a second. It takes me a good second. It feels way harder than majority of the stuff that I sharpen. 20 CV and M390 and S35VN, 14C28N, a lot of the stuff that I typically sharpen, Nitro V also, this feels way harder than that. This feels like I'm sharpening one of like my Magna Cut knives, or my CPM 15V Spyderco Manix. Yeah, I got one of those, and honestly, this feels pretty freaking hard. But it did sharpen up well. The only little gripe that I had with this, and I did talk about it in the review of this knife, is that after just the one sharpening, you start to creep up on it. At least my sharpening system did, and I tried to avoid it as much as possible. But if whoever gets this, you technically can put your own sharpening choil right there, because the stop pin is located further back down over there. So yeah, this again does not have original packaging, but it is still a wonderful, wonderful knife. No marks, even though it is a satin finished blade. I've probably only put maybe like one or two little scuffs in the right light, but honestly, this looks pretty freaking pristine. So that's nice. Man, I would miss this thing, because that action and how it feels in hand overall, those contoured tie scales are just wonderful. All right, this last one, actually no, not the last one, second to last. This is my comparison knife, S35VN Savivi Elementum. This was a project knife, and this knife actually has a couple little issues with it, and I want to share that with you guys here. So what I've done, and I actually do have these stock scales. They were dyed, and they just need to be cleaned a little bit. Those are G10. This was the Blade HQ exclusive S35VN. It came in a darker bead blast finish. So what I did was I put a beautiful acid stonewash, very heavy acid stonewash. I tried to stay true to the factory angle. It's been sharpened about 2 times, maybe 3 times, honestly. I've had it for a while. And it still cuts like an absolute dream. Very thin stock, super thin behind the edge with a hollow grind, and it is a wonderful, wonderful slicer of a knife. I did purchase some titanium scales that I did some work on. They are not perfect, because these were the first scales I ever did any type of metal working with, and it's been really fun using them. Also, I did purchase a matching Savivi branded titanium clip with T8 screws that it comes with, and I color matched. I also acid stonewashed the liners and all the hardware on this. So this knife has been fully modified, but there was a little mishap that I just completely looked over it when I went to actually put the scales into the acid to darken it. It did, no, excuse me, the blade. When I put the blade in, I didn't protect the blade, with some nail polish. So now the detent hole is just a hair bigger than the actual detent ball. Now this knife, after only a year of owning it, started to get some detent lash, but because of doing my modifications and not taking those precautions, using nail polish to protect the detent hole, now it has just a little bit more, but the action, you can see it there. That's about it. You don't feel it when it comes to actually engaging with the blade itself and actually flipping it out. It's still just stupid snappy and locks up solidly, no side to side, up or down, and there is actually no movement within the pivot. So that is machined very well, but I did contribute to adding a little bit more detent lash to that. So this will be definitely priced, you know, justifiably. And yeah, that is the Savivi knife. Because I'm taking out 2 size comparison knives, I'm going to be replacing them with something else. If you guys have any recommendations of what I should get for new size comparison knives, let me know. And if you don't know what I typically use for size comparison knives, go ahead and just watch any one of my reviews up until like the last month or so. They're all the current ones. This is the last knife that I'm going to be selling here. This is a Gavco Knives custom knife, fully custom knife. He lives out in Florida. It's cool. So US made. Every one of these are uniquely made, close to being one-offs, honestly, unless requested to make something, but I honestly don't think the one guy making these knives has time to take specific requests. What you see here in front of you, this knife, I believe, has been reprofiled and ground by BGM Grinds or Regrinds or just BGM Knives. On Instagram, he actually did a super deep hollow grind because of blade stock thickness on this. It's ginormous. But after the regrind, after me putting a wonderful edge on there, it actually cuts like really any other knife, but it still feels kind of like you're wedging, like you're putting something, and it's like you're kind of like wedging something between like really thick material if you're cutting like thick material. The action on this, it is pretty good, and it sounds nice too. So that's pretty cool. I like the sound of that. It's very positive. No side to side, up or down is wonderful. There is 0 play in the pivot. I think at one point it might have, but I think it finally corrected itself. I did the anodization work on this because originally it was all just stone, like bead blasted off or like sand blasted. So I did a silver underneath, and then I did a blue sheen to it. So there's that. It is very beautiful looking. Honestly, I'm gonna do this same recipe on something else. You can see that all the edges, everything has that blue sheen to it. All T8 hardware, including the pocket clip, which is ginormous, but it works, and because of the way that it's shaped, it's not a hot spot. So there is that guy. There is no over travel stop on this, so be very careful to not bend that out. As long as you can avoid that, the action is honestly pretty darn good. This is running on bearings. So man, that sounds good. It sounds really good. And all right, this video is long, I know, but I want to share with you guys what I currently have already up on NAF sale. This is essentially a brand new Demco 80-20.5 S35VN JG10. I took it to work like one day and then decided that I really shouldn't have bought it because there's no reason for me to have it when I have my full texture tie 3V version. I'm going to be putting it in a MBK pouch because it has multiple pockets, and most people that purchase knives like this are going to want to get extra bits and pieces. There's no original packaging for this. I apologize. I do not have the lefty clip. It's just the right clip. But of course this can still take the Lynch Northwest clips, upgrades and things like that. The action on this thing is stupid smooth, and honestly, this thing locks up way more solid than my textured 3V version, which costs like twice as much. So there's that guy. This is it's not Remet, it's made by Remet, but this was originally the QYGMGS button lock, like premium flipper knife. Has the original studs on there. This was a shred carbon fiber on one side, tie backspacer, tie bolsters with a lot of beautiful milling, titanium clip, T6 body hardware, T8 pivot, nice textured steel button there, and just this very beautiful, almost polished iridescent-ish kind of looking blade material. It has been sharpened like twice. It's a wonderful blade shape actually, and ergonomically speaking, it's pretty darn nice as well. A little further down here and further up, it's good to go. What is included are, I'm not planning to get rid of all these springs because I do a favor every once in a while to ship out some springs on behalf of Remet knives, but I do have some steel thumb studs that came on one of my what was the knife they were from? Oh, it was an MBK mini old guard. It came with an extra set of thumb studs, and I decided that they're better off on this knife. It's very easy to replace them, literally just they're finger tight, the thumb studs that are currently on there, but I'm including the stock ones just because that seems like the right thing to do. Been trying to get rid of this one for a while, not for any negative reason. This is a SOG Knives, the Alt Air. This is essentially it was definitely a much cheaper knife than a bug out, but honestly it's supposed to be something to battle the Benchmade bug out. Not made in the US, it's made overseas in Taiwan, but as you guys know, Taiwan does make a lot of pretty good stuff. So this guy's been up there for a minute, and action, beautiful, blade shape, wonderful to use, and just ridiculously light. Other things to show you. This is just random packaging, has a little cloth, but this is where I currently have my Doug Ritter RSK MKG2. This is from the second sprint run, the Magna Cut and heavily milled carbon fiber scales. This knife has been sharpened, reprofiled once, and I'm getting rid of it because it's just a little too much knife for me, and I currently own the mini, which I use a lot more than this. The action on this thing, it is perfection. No side to side, up or down. There's no movement in the pivot. I did have to replace one of the Omega springs because it did break. It happens. Omega springs are not perfect. Crossbar lock knives are not perfect. But because this is a US made knife, their customer service was excellent, and within a week or so they sent me a new set of springs, and I just replaced them. So that is good to go. That one was the one that I'm asking a little bit more for than original price, because honestly that's a collector's knife, so it's priced as such. The LTK Result, this is made by We Knives, and you have all the original packaging, extra screws. This is the very large, super premium button lock knife. This thing is just honestly the nicest button lock I've ever experienced. Honestly, I wish this level of tolerance and fit and finish was on a lot of the other stuff that I've experienced, but a lot of things just, they're gonna have to beat this. It's very difficult to beat, honestly. So there's that guy. And there are two more I want to show you guys real quick. This is the Vero Engineering Mini, or Axon Mini, full tie frame lock with black DLC, I think it was. No, it's a black washed. So all the original packaging, sticker, the candies, I ate them. I am sorry. I carried this for about a day and decided that it wasn't for me. It has like this thing is genuinely in perfect condition. But I carried it for one day and decided that it's just not for me. I prefer the inset liner lock version. I'm sure you guys have seen that many times. I have no idea why, but so many people message me throughout the week for this knife. It's like a $300 and almost $30 knife, and I have people sending me offers for 150 bucks. Honestly, that's pretty freaking disrespectful. I don't understand why people do that. Some people on AppSell, they're like, oh, this knife costs $500, you're selling it for $200? How about you just send me the knife for free and then pay me for taking it off your hands? Oh man. This is my Spyderco Little Native. This has RGT stonewashed sunburst milled pattern scales in here, titanium of course. This thing is a little brick, honestly. The action is definitely wonderful. It is running on washers, and it has the typical Spyderco compression backlock, and I did find the original scales that came on this. It was the peel ply textured forest green. I don't know, it's a dark green. This originally came from the Knife Joker, so those will be included for whoever is interested in this knife. If I could find a nice little pouch for this, that would be nice, because Spydercos are just such wonderful knives, and so many people like to customize them. So if I could find a pouch that has multiple pockets, I will definitely do that. But thank you guys for watching. I know this was a very long one. I just wanted to share everything. I want to be as transparent with you guys as possible. I'm selling off a lot of these wonderful knives because, not because I'm running out of room, but because of financial reasons. There are so many cool things that I want to check out, but I can't just be dropping like hundreds and thousands of dollars, you know, throughout the month to get new stuff to make content. I've been trying to do a lot of other forms of content, customization videos and things like that. You guys can see me, you know, blow myself up and, you know, make a mess of things. It's fun. But with that being said, I most definitely appreciate if you guys would head over to NAF sale once these are all posted. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.